Right, we're now going to do this, and what I'm going to do is show you how to do the pelt. So I don't necessarily want you to copy this one, but what I want you to do is to, because there's so many different kinds, is to go find a reindeer that you kind of like and either copy that or do a stylized version. So first things first, in your kit you will now have a few little skin colours that you may or may not need. You're going to have some black, and that's for the middle of the eye, that's for the iris, and also for maybe just highlighting or low lighting in actual fact the eyes. And then we've also got a bit of really dark brown, which has just fallen off, and we've only got a little bit of that, but we don't really need much of it. That's just for the eyes. It's for blending the darker areas of the nose and the muzzle, and that's it. So first of all, I'm going to talk about hand blending. It's something that's really useful to be able to do, and what I want you to do is get bits of fibre that you have a lot of. So for me, I've got quite a bit of this fawn, so I'm just going to take a handful, and I'm going to take a handful of white. So I'm going to make a lighter colour, and it's just like painting. You mix the colours together to get the colour that you want, and by putting the fibres that flowing in the same direction and holding them very gently in each hand like this, and then what you do is you pull apart like that, and then you lay them very carefully on top of each other like that, and we do it again, and then you get a blended colour. Now this works for anything. So that's my first top tip today, blending. When you've got your reindeer sculpted and you're happy with his shape, what I want you to do is sitting down like this, and then you're going to get your blended or your fawn, and you're going to decide what it's going to look like. Now if he's going to be a red-nosed reindeer, maybe that you want him quite dark, the antler, the darker antler colour that you've done all over, and give him little white eyes. It may be that you decide you want him white, in which case that would be lovely, and then you're going to use these colours around his muzzle. So go and have a look at some white reindeer, and what you do is you work from the dark to the lightest. So you put the dark line in there, and then you blend out this colour, that's the darkest, isn't it? Put that colour in, just a tiny little amount, and we're just going to and with a single needle you can stab in there, and then cover that over because he hasn't got lipstick, and we're going to blend that in. And then over the top of that we blend this out. So basically we're diffusing all the time the harshness of the colour. And then over that, obviously you will do this a lot better than I'm doing it, because I am doing it upside down, and I am doing it looking in the camera as well. Okay, and after that, if we liked it, we would put some white over the top of the edges, and that would blend it all in. Easy as falling off a log. And remember, when you're needling and you're blending, you blend in the direction that you want the fibres to go. So if we've laid the fibres out down there, the last thing we're going to do is push them up that way, because then we end up with ridges and lines and other things that we really don't want. Also at this stage we're going to go in a bleak angle, really, really, really close to the surface, so almost parallel to the surface, so that we don't leave little holes. So that's the beginning of how to do his mouth and other places where there's going to be pink. When you come to do his eye, tiny little bit of the pink in the corner. It's got some black mixed up in it, don't tell. It looks like he's got lipstick on, look. Right, so I'm going to take a tiny little bit of black, maybe a little bit more than that, okay? This is for each eye, so tiny, tiny, tiny bit of black. I'm going to do half of that, because that would just be too big. And a tiny bit of really, really darkest brown. And we're going to pull them apart like that. I'm going to blend them a bit. And then we're going to lay them over each other like that. And I'm going to put them in our hand. Make sure it is really wispy as well. You put it in your hand. And then we're going to roll it. And then we're going to add that. Just bend the antler out of the way. And they have like a eyeliner that comes down there. And we're going to blend that back in a bit anyway. We're going to put the eyeliner all the way around. And this is kind of like his inner eyelid. And I'm also going to knock that eye down because they have quite round eyes, don't they? And I'm going to bring that in. Now, that's too long, so I'm going to pull it off like that. Be ruthless. Now, to make sure that that is all really nicely, gently needle felted in. I don't want to see anybody with it rammed in, and your needles going in up to here, and you're dragging the fibre as far as it'll go. It's just going on the surface. This isn't a sculpting thing, this is a finishing thing. So we've done that. Now, what you might like to do when you stopped doing that bit, I'm going to bring that in there. Where's my little bit of flesh colour? There it is. I'm going to bring that up as well, and that down, so I don't want to see white. The white's got to go. Okay, so kind of there with that bit. Don't worry about the white of his eye or anything like that. We're going to do a pupil in there, and that is the tiniest little bit of black. So that's the beginning of his eye, and I want you to do that first. Okay, so that goes on there, and you needle that in. And I'll be back in a minute with other pelty things. Can you see that? It's very difficult because it's so dark. So I've just done it kind of in the middle as though it's looking forward. So if in doubt, look forward. Okay, back in a mo.